Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session we learned about working with string manipulations. String manipulations in JavaScript. We learned how to handle length and char at and char code at. We have index of. We have last index of. These examples we learned. So these are the string functions we are having. So length, char at, char code at, index of, last index of. So what is difference already we learned. Now other functions are there, we will see. Other important, we have the options like starts with. So we have another one, starts with, and we have starts with is nothing but actually it returns boolean true if a string starts with specified characters Similarly, we have ends with is nothing but it returns true if string ends with specified characters. So we have starts with, ends with. These are boolean types actually. That means they are going to return true or false. So they return boolean true and false based on a simple example I will show here. Means how we can use them, how starts with, ends with works. Suppose I am writing here a page. In the page, I will give here your Gmail. I will put a simple data list, data term, and say your Gmail. And here we put a different data definition. Input type we given as email, ID as a email, and we have a data definition ID as email error. Now the point is here user have to enter email address. User need to enter the email address, but it should be Gmail only, or anything else not allowed. That means any another address not allowed. For example, suppose I said here your Skype. So your Skype account like this, and that should be Skype account should be at outlook.com. So it cannot be anything. That means we will put a placeholder. So at Outlook like this. That means it will display like this. If they entered Gmail or some other email address, it should not take. How to verify that the email they entered is having outlook.com? Then simple, what you can do, I want to verify on blur. On blur, we will say verify email. So on blur, when it loses the focus, we will write a script function verify email. We will first collect email, document get element by ID. Which one? Email. Email dot value. And if email dot one more is error also. So where email error. So email error. Document get element by ID. Email error. Email error dot what? Value. Not value, it is a data definition. Now if email dot ends with, if email is ending with, if email ends with, so which one? That means I defined outlook.com. If it ends with outlook.com, email error inner HTML must be empty, nothing to define. Otherwise, email error else, email error inner HTML, it should say you please provide a valid Outlook account, like this. Or so please provide a valid Skype account, like this we have defined. And font color, we will set it to red. That's how we do. That is the basic how we need to configure. Now let's run this and see how it is working. That means you can see when I run this, you can see this is, I click here and type some name. So some gmail.com, then it says, please provide a valid Skype account. Email correct, but it is not ending with outlook.com. That means what we have to do, we have to use outlook.com. Now it is okay. Anything else, it is not verifying, because you are verifying is it ending with that particular characters or not. Then we can do by using ends with. We can define by using end with. Now, similarly, we can have start with, end with, start with. For example, suppose I want to verify whether it is ending with or not. So here you can write any event, it doesn't matter. Yeah? That's not a question at all, because already we discussed it. If you want immediately to verify, you can write on change or on key up. If you want to verify after, then you can use on blur, right? You can write any event you want, it doesn't matter, huh? Right? Now here, so what we have to do is ends with. Suppose we will take another one, another term. What is that? Suppose your some card number. So that is data definition. Input type is equal to text, and ID is equal to some card number. That means they need to enter the card number. So we need to enter the card number, right? So, and very important is below this, I will keep here below or beside it here, I will put an image. So image width is 200. So just 50 or 60 is enough, small image. And here height as 30 or 20. Okay. Border is 1. Actually, there is one image there. Right, to keep a correct alignment, usually what you can do is you can keep bootstrap input group and all. Align I will give as right. So this is completely right aligned. So we'll just keep left. It will be like this now. Fine. Now what we will do is when user enters here. So I will just remove this border, because I kept border just to see where it is coming. I will remove that, and ID as some pic, like this. Now what we will do is here in our project, in images, in public images folder, we will put some images. Suppose I am having some images. Let's put some images here. In my computer, I have some images, and these are images like D drive. Yeah. So we have some images. Let's go to this public folder. Yeah, images, And I'm having the images like some visa, like master. I will copy these images here. Okay, we have visa, master. These are PNG files. They are PNG files. Now what I'm doing here is I'm writing a simple logic. That means here, while typing, I need to verify. What I will do is here, while typing itself, I need to verify. Then I will use on key up. On key up, we will say verify card. And here we are writing, so function verify card. Now first we need to get what they entered in the card, where card is equal to document get element by ID, what it is, card dot value. Now I need to verify here. Another one is pick. Pick is document get element by ID pick. Pick is just the image that we have there. That is the image we are having there. Pick is the image. Now what we are doing, we are writing if card dot starts with, if it is starting with the character, starting with which character? So if it is starting with the character, suppose it is starting with the character, suppose it is 44. That means there is certain code if it is starting with 44, and it can have several others. But if it is starting with 44, then pick dot src is equal to dot slash public slash images slash some visa dot png. So we will write another condition. Another condition is else if. Another condition, if card is starting with, so 55 code, then pick dot src is dot slash public slash images slash master dot png. And if it is not starting with these two, if it is not starting with these two, else, then pick dot src, we will keep empty. And you know, pick is a picture, have an alt, you know, alt is for images, we have alternative text. We will put alt as NA. NA is what? Not available. Not available. We are giving alternate text. Now see, this time I am typing here. I am clicking and typing here. If it is starting with 44, it is visa. So it is visa. That means we are typing some number. So that is some visa. Like this we define. Some enter. Suppose if it is starting with, 55, then it is master. That means automatically based on that it is changing. That means with which one you are adding, we can define that. So dynamically it is going to change. It is going to verify, is it starting with that particular or not. That you can do generally by using what? So we can do that by using starts with and ends with. It returns a Boolean value. So syntactically, suppose var a string is equal to, suppose some welcome, something like this. And if I say str dot starts with W, then what it will return? It will return false. Why? Because it is case sensitive also. Capitalization matters. That means, so str dot starts with W, then it will return true, right? So technically you can verify whether it is starting with or ending with str dot what ends with E, then it is true, like this. This is basic condition. That means you can verify whether a string is starting with this character and ending this with character. For that we have the string methods called starts with ends with, right? This is another example. So this is an example for that. Let me copy this. So this is an example for verifying string indexes, verifying string characters, and verifying whether they are starting or ending. Next, important, in the string functions, we have three important. One is slice, another one substring, and we have substr. In many interviews, they have questions on this regularly. What is difference between them? Actually, slice, substring, and substr, they are used for reading the characters from a string and returning them. They can read characters from a string and they can return those characters. Then what is the difference between them? It is regularly asked in interviews. Why? Because see, suppose now I am writing here a simple page, HTML. Okay. Here we see I am creating a script and I am writing where some MSG, message is welcome to JavaScript. And see, I am using document.write. I am using msg.slice, slice from 7. I am writing like this. That means it will start with 7 index up to end. It will slice, it will read. That means starting from 7, it will read up to end. It will read up to end. That means now you can see from 7, it will read up to end. So it is reading the characters starting from 7 index up to the end. Okay. Suppose I given here, instead of slice, I am using another one, substring. Substring, I am giving, suppose 10. From 10, and you can see from 10, it is reading up to end. If I write 7, it will read from 7 up to end. Suppose I am using substr, substr 10. Substr is also doing same. And substr, I will give here 7. It is doing same work. Then obviously the doubt is, what is difference? Because all three are look similar. They are working like similar concept, right? But what is difference between them? Difference lot is there. Actually, slice is nothing but it reads and returns the characters between specified index. It reads and returns the characters between specified index. That means actually slice uses, means syntactically, here I will show the syntax. Syntactically, slice uses start index, comma, end index. Or slice uses start index. That means without end index. That means this will read, so characters between start index and end index. Here, if you give, it will read characters from start to end. Up to end, how many are there, it can read. That is end index, to start to end index. It is that. It is characters between specified index. That is what slice is doing. But substring is not that. Actually, substring and substr are different. What is substring and substr? Actually, substr, first I will show this substr. Substr is nothing but it it reads specified characters from given index. It reads specified characters from given index. It is not end index. It is not end index. That means what it will do, actually, it will use the syntax like this. Syntactically, it uses the option like what we have. We have sub str. It will use start index, and from here how many. That means how many characters you want to read from that index. It is not end index. It is not end index. That means what we are writing, sub str, start index is 7, and here we are writing suppose 10 or say 4. What does this means? What does this means? From 7 it reads how many characters? It reads 4 characters. From 7 4 characters it will read. Suppose you return sub str 7, 0. So it will not read. It will not read any characters. It will not read any characters. Suppose you return sub sub str 7. If you return 7 and you are not giving how many characters, then it will read up to end. Up to end. That means from that 7 position up to end it will read. If you don't mention how many. That is the reason they both look similar in that point. That means only one point is matching about them. What is that point? If I don't mention end, they will read up to end. But both are not same. Slice is using end index, but this is using, suppose in slice, I return slice, I return 7, 4. 7, 4. What it will return? How 7 to 4 index? That means it cannot read. It cannot read. It cannot read because actually what is the rule here? End index. So end index must be, right? Must be the index after start. The index after start must be after start. It is not before. That is what actually slice problem is. That means it cannot read anything. For example, you see now, I'm using here slice. In slice, I given suppose 7 to 10. That means from 7, 10 characters. Huh? No, from 7 index to 10 index. That means from 7 index to 10 index means it will return 2, including space. That space also character, right? That means it is going to get up to that. But if I use the same with the sub str, what does this mean? 7, from 7, 10 characters. From 7, 10 characters, that means it will read up to this. From 7, 10 characters, it will read. That is what actually sub str. Suppose now I given, so 7, 4, that means from 7 it will read 4 characters. Suppose I am giving like this, so slice. If I give slice 7 to 4, it cannot do that because that must be greater than, it's not returning anything. Because it cannot read backward. It cannot read backward. It can go only forward. That means slice is not going to read backward. So that means the end index must be the index after start. That means it cannot read backward direction here. So this is the difference between slice and sub-str. But what is substring? Substring advantage is it reads specified characters. So bidirectional. It reads bidirectional. That means it can read right side, left side. Slice and substring cannot do that. That means what sub-str cannot do that. Substring, what it will do? We have substring, and here we are using what? So we are defining start index, and here we are defining which one? End index. Here end index. So can be any direction. Can be any direction. For example, that means now here some more points are there. Suppose I am giving substring. I am writing here. So 7. It will read from 7 up to end. It is going to read up to end. But I given here 7, 0. 7, 0. 0 means 0 index. And you can see that 7, 0, if I give that, it will read this direction. Right? That is what actually bidirectional it is. This is not possible in slice. In slice, it is not possible. Sub-str also not possible, because sub-str means from 7, 0. From 7, 0 means nothing. This can read bidirectional. Suppose I defined from 7, 1. Right, I am defining 1. That means it will not read that W up to 0, because W is 0. Now it can read either directions. It can read both directions. That is what actually the speciality of here substring. It is bidirectional in reading. It can read either direction. So this is basically done. So by using substring. So here we can use substring. So 7. This means so from 7 to end. Suppose I given substring 7, 0. This indicates from 7 to 0. 0 means start. It is from start. You can define any particular range. That is the difference between these three actually. So we have substring, sub-str and slice. These are frequently asked in regular interviews. In many of the interviews, they ask this question. What is difference between slice, substring and sub-str? Because all are used for reading characters from a string, right? That is one difference you need to understand. Generally, we use this everywhere. For example, suppose when user enters, so when user enters any reference, suppose I will go here. Suppose when user enters email and all, I will put a simple example. Suppose you asked your email and you entered input type is equal to email. And the ID I given as email. Now what I want is after user finish email, I need to check. So what is his domain, where he created, where is his email? Is it in Outlook? Is it in Gmail? Or is it in MS and something? That means I want to separate. That means what I want here is below, I want to display data list, data term. Here I want to display your ID and data definition. ID is email ID. Yeah, I just give ID. Okay, ID. Okay. Next, another data term is domain. Domain is here I defined ID as what? Domain. ID and domain. It is nothing but just what I want to do here is, after he finished entering email, that means he entered email, some email. Then after he finished, I need to get only ID. I need to get only this ID and display here. So I need to get only the ID and I want to display here. Domain, I need to get only this domain and I want to display here. How to extract? That means only ID must come there and only domain should come here. That means now we need to separate the string. We need to separate the string where? At the net. At the net you have to do. So we need to find out where at the net is present. And from at the net to the beginning is ID. After at the net to the end, it is a domain name, in which location they have taken that, right? Now we need to separate this. That means now what we will do here is, for that we will simply show here, write on blur. I am writing on blur. So get details. Okay, let's write the script here. In the script, we are defining a function. What is it? Get details. This get details function is very fine. So we are using var some email. How to get document get element by ID? What is it? Email. Dot value. Whatever value they entered. Now we will get ID. That means I will say email ID. Email underscore ID. How to get email ID? Only ID I need to get. So we have complete email. In this complete email, we have to verify where at the net is coming. How to get the position of at the net? To get the position of at the net, so we have to use dot index of. Am I right? Index of which character? At the net. It will get its position. From there, I have to read to the beginning. From there, we have to read to the beginning, right? Want to off, right? So from there, we want to read up to beginning. Then from there, if you want to read beginning, so then we can do like this. What to do? So we will use email dot substring. From which position? From which position? That means we will use email dot index of what? At the net 2, 0. Am I right? To make it more clear for you, because this is a simple approach. So you want more clarity, then generally I can get like this, at position. First, how to get at position? So email dot index of at the net. It will get at position, right? Its index number. So now I will create ID. What is it? Email dot substring. From where? At position 2. How much? 0. Up to that. Now what about domain? Where domain is equal to email dot substring from which location at position. That's it. It will read up to end. If I don't give end, right? I can give up to end. Generally, tell me another technique how to know end, how many characters are there. Then what you can do, you can write like email dot length. Understood? Right? It will read up to end. That's not required because this itself read up to end, but it will include this position also. It will include that position. That means @ symbol also will come. Then we will use +1. +1 means from that position next. That means that is not included. Otherwise, @ is included. It will not. It should not include +1. Okay. These we need to print. Document dot get element by ID. ID dot inner HTML is equal to ID. Document get element by ID. What is it? Domain dot inner HTML is equal to what? Domain. That's it. Now I am entering here. So I am entering here some David underscore some JS so underscore 11 like this. @ some gmail.com and it will display that. Your ID is this and domain is this. That means it is going to extract and return only the characters between that specified index. Whatever his ID is there, so it will get that ID and display. It will get the ID and display, and whatever the domain is there. So some Naresh IT dot co.in like this, it will get that. This is how it is going to extract and display them. For that, we are using simple options. What are that? We are using substring. We can use slice, we can use substr, or we can use substring. Depending on the requirement, we can define. This is example for handling the string. To extract a string and to manage the string, these are the characters. Starts with, ends with, and we have slice, we have substr, another one is substring, right? Next, important in string functions, we have the string functions like split. Actually, split is nothing but it splits a string. It splits a string at a specified character, and returns an array. That means it splits at that character and returns an array. Actually, how to deal with array, I told you destructuring technique, variable destructuring technique that will help you to extract that information actually. That means generally what happens, that means syntactically, we write like this. So we write string dot what? Split. Split, you have to write the character in single quote. In single quote, which character? So you have to define the character in single quote. That's compulsory. That means where you want to split. That is. Usually, this is required in various occasions. For example, these days we have comma separated files, so many CSV files people call as. Suppose you are having contacts in your phone and you want to export the contacts. When you want to export the contacts, I hope you all people know the contacts are exported into a CSV file. CSV is very common, right? So CSV file, it is even used in MS Excel like software. CSV means what? Comma separated. right? So usually these files are very popular these days for data. Majority of mobile operators, they use your contact and name with CSV. That means people send bulk SMS now. Have you seen? You know, bulk SMS sites, people can send bulk SMS to all their customers at a time. Then what you can also do that. So we have several websites, way to SMS and all these. What you can do is you have to upload all your friends' numbers and their names, and automatically it can send a message to all of them. Same. Then majority of such people, they ask that make sure that your uploading file content is some separated, CSV separated, comma separated. That means actually here you see, suppose I'm writing where I'm writing products. Products is a string. Products is a string, and this string. In this string, we have some Samsung TV. So this is TV, and it is having some price. This is its price. Samsung TV, and it is its price. Now what happens is, so after that, comma, some Nike casuals, and its price. Suppose like this we define. Now what I want to do is I want to separate these two products. I want to separate these two products and I want to individually handle them. How do you separate them? They are already separated with a delimiter. Delimiter is a separator. Where what is the separator? Comma. They already separated at comma. So what you have to do now? So where here, very important, actually to separate them, what we do, products dot what, split, which at which character, splitter character is comma. You have to write in single quote, split. Now what it will do, it will return two values. It will return two values. So Samsung TV, Nike casuals. You learned in JavaScript destructuring how to handle two values at a time. Where in a square brace. So one is TV, another one shoe, is equal to this result. Understood? Already I told you this destructuring variable technique. That means if many values are coming, all those values you can store under one at a time you can configure. That means this string splits into two now. And if it splits into two, the first value will be in TV, second value in show. You want to print the details. That means I will use document.write. I will put here a heading. Just I will put a backtick. I will put a heading, some show details. And how to print show details. Just I will put a paragraph. And in the paragraph, here I will add, so shoe variable. I'm just using a binding expression like. So then you can see it is going to return like this. That means this is not example. Yeah, it is going to return in this way. It will extract only that and it will display. That means suppose this is a string. So here we are having a string like, so ampersand hash 8377 semicolon like this. That is a string. That means it is going to display that. But here you see this is not a string which is converted now. Because we are just using document right now. So we have to use other techniques to get that string and append that and display. Actually what we do, we can append using other techniques that I will show you how we can append. Initially, this is actually not separated at hyphen. It is separated with what? Comma. Suppose I want to separate again its price and display. Then how? Again, you have to apply a split on that shoe. That means suppose I want to separate name and price. Now tell me shoe details. In the shoe details, let's create a expression here. In the shoe details, I want to print shoe name and its price separately. Right? That means I will use name. How do we get the shoe name? How to get the name? Only name should come from there, not the price. Actually, string is what? Shoe. Shoe. And here we can use again a split, right? But again a split means again you have to write two variables. One variable for name, another variable for price. But here we'll just learn splitting, right? That means I will use substring. Substring from which location? Substring from which location? So from which location? Shoe dot index of, am I right? Index of which character? Hyphen. Hyphen to what? 0. Understood? That means hyphen to 0. That means it should get only the name. And what about the next one? So price. So that means what we need to define here, we are using shoe dot, what is it? Substring, that is shoe dot index of hyphen plus 1. That means from that particular location, it will read that character and display. That is how we can separate. That means we are using now combinations. Actually, we can use split also. So if you want to use split, then what you can do, where we can use name and price is equal to shoe dot what? Split, which one? Hyphen. Then I am printing here. I will define another line break. This time I will simply say shoe name is coming from where? Name. Another one, I said shoe price is coming from where? So it is coming from price. That means we are clearly separating those and displaying again. The same concept, I will just put a HR here, horizontal line, then it will keep that separated. We are using both techniques, the same split and this. Later, if you can learn conditions, looping statements, then you can read all of them. That means all elements, so their prices, all elements, their names, right? For that, you need the concept of split and you need the concept of working with the index of substring, slice and all, right? That is how actually we can manage. In two ways we can do. So split is used for splitting the string at any specific character. Any character you can use. Not only a special character, it can be any character. You want to split at A, you want to split at E, you can do that. That is concept. But very important, split always returns array. Means it returns more than one value. Then we have to capture them and store them and use them. By using destructuring technique, we can easily do that. Actually, without destructuring, how to do? For that, you will learn about array concept. Without destructuring means, suppose here, without destructuring how? Actually, here, suppose I am not using name and price. I will just use here details. Understood? Now, how to access that? Actually, first value will be in details of 0. Details of 0, it will have the first option. That means details of 0, it is having first. That means you can see details of 0. And second one, what it is? Details of 1. That means at present at one index it will display. This is the technique generally people follow if they don't know the destructuring technique. If they are not aware of destructuring technique, details contains at 0 first value, at 1 second value. This is another process actually. That means without destructuring, you can access in this way. This is the example. So without destructure. So this is split. That means how you can split a string, how you can extract the string and use it. Next important in the string, while working with the strings, we have trim. Another important function, trim. Actually, it is used to remove leading spaces in a string. Leading spaces are nothing but the space before and after string, not between. Space before and after string, you want to remove them, then you have to use trim. Because usually this problem comes regularly when you are dealing with the characters. For example, I will show you here. Let's say here some name. That means we are trying to enter some name. I'm just using here. I'm creating suppose a simple user ID, and we have text box. Input type is text and ID as user ID. Okay, and we put a button. Button is some submit. So for submit, I'm writing on click. On click is submit click. On submit click, let's write a script. And in the script function, we have submit click. On submit click, we are defining a functionality. First, we will call user ID, document dot get element by ID. What is it? User ID dot value. We are accessing the value. Now, what we need to do here is if user ID is matching with what we are expecting, then it says verified. Otherwise, say invalid. Then what we will do, we'll write a condition. If user ID is matching with some John underscore NIT. If it is matching with that, then document dot write success. This message should come. Otherwise, it should put an alert saying that invalid user ID. That's the message. Now I will write here. Let's see. Here I am writing here. So let's add that. Okay. Now I am entering. So John underscore NIT. I am writing like this. I click on submit now. It is correctly entered and it says invalid. I entered correctly, but it is saying invalid. But actually I haven't entered correctly. You see after T, some space is there. Accidentally such spaces may come. This will be a problem. Accidentally such spaces are there. It will not able to do. I have to remove that space. Then click on submit. Then it works. That means, for example, leading space means I said John underscore NIT. Again, it is invalid. Why? Because there is some space not after, before there is some space. There can be some space and before or after. Then it is not going to verify. So such leading spaces I want to remove. Then what we do is when you are reading this user ID and when you are comparing user ID, while comparing, first you trim and compare. You trim and compare. Trim means remove the unnecessary spaces and then compare. Now in this case, suppose I am entering like John. So I said, you see, space John _ NIT. Now it's okay, it will verify. That means even you have the spaces. Suppose I entered like John _ NIT, and after T I have some space. Now it's okay, it will verify. So that is trim. So it is used for removing the leading spaces, right? Simply what you have to do, we have to define the string and we have to use what? So we have to use trim. That is mostly while working with all these kind of characters, we have to use that, right? So while working with these lengthy strings, we need to manage this. That means we need to handle that situation, right? This is string handling. So how you can handle the string and how you can manage the string. Example I will give. So example, we will see how it works. So this is one example. Let me copy that. This is example for that. So we have string functions. So in the string functions, you have trim, you have a split, you have index of, last index of, substring, sub-str, right? Another very slice and all these options. Another important and major is match. Match. Actually, there are so many, we are going to learn of all them. Match is important. This is a big concept because if you have already learned in HTML, that is good, right? Otherwise, you need to learn one more thing here, because I hope you learned HTML. In HTML, you learned text box attributes. Can you tell what are the attributes we have for a text box? Actually, text box attributes in HTML, there are so many attributes. We have name, we have ID, we have class, we have value, we have size, we have placeholder, we have autofocus. So we have options like min length, we have like max length, you have required, required, and you have list, and you have pattern. These are all attributes. You have so many. We have disabled, we have read only. All these are the attributes of text input. These are all in HTML, right? Now, do you know what is the purpose of list? List is used to attach a data list to text box. To a text box, you can attach a data list so that when user is typing, that list will be displayed. That is data list actually. Autocomplete list you can add. Do you know what is the purpose of required? So it verifies whether a value is present or not. So without writing much validations, already text box have several validations. Do you know what is pattern? It is also a property of text box. Pattern is a property of text box attribute. So the purpose of pattern is to verify whether the format of value is matching according to your requirement. That means it is used to verify the format of value. That is general in HTML. For example, suppose you have a form, and in the form we have some username and input type is equal to text, and username and name is equal to username, and we have a submit button. So button submit. Now I want username only in capital letters. Otherwise it should not allow. Then usually we can do that just with pattern. So in HTML5, there are so many attributes. In many interviews, they ask, name the validation attributes of input. Input have some validation attributes. What are the validation attributes input is having already? Min length, max length, required, pattern. This all comes under validation attributes. That means if you without writing any logic, they can verify. We don't need to write any logic. Actually, what you can do, I can write so like this. I can define like required. So required, I can write like required. I can write min length. Min length is 4. Then what happens? So without entering, click, it says please fill out. I'm entering, but I'm not entering what is needed. So it says please lengthen to 4. Like that, in the validation, there is an option called pattern. Pattern, you can write, patterns are verified by using regular expressions. I hope in HTML you learned regular expression with patterns. Otherwise, you have to learn. I will tell you here now. We will learn in the class how to handle them. Actually, what is the purpose of pattern? Generally, patterns are used for pattern. It uses a regular expression to verify the format of input. It uses a regular expression to verify the format of input actually. So that means you see passwords. They will say that password minimum 4 to 15, at least one uppercase letter. How to verify all of that? That is verified by using pattern. We do that by using patterns. That means usually pattern uses a regular expression, and actually regular expressions are built with meta characters and quantifiers. You have to learn a lot of meta characters. I will show here, we will see that. So because these days people learn in HTML itself, no need to discuss in JavaScript. But if you are missing with that topic, you don't know what is a pattern in HTML, then at least here you have to learn, because in validations that is major. For just roughly, I will show you here. Suppose pattern, we write like this, A-Z, and we say 4,10. This indicates it will accept only uppercase letters 4 to 10. Accept only uppercase 4 to 10. Actually, this is regular expression. Now, in this, I am trying here, entering some David. Then it is 4 characters, but it will not allow. It says, please match requested format. And what is the requested format? It should be David. So that means minimum 4, but uppercase letters also still not allowed, because minimum how many? 4. Then it is allowed. It will submit that. These kind of patterns are these days learned by people in HTML itself. So these are very important for validation. Later, even when you are dealing with the regular expressions, means React, Angular, like technologies everywhere, these regular expressions are common. Even server-side programming also uses the regular expressions in the same way. You have to learn how to build the regular expressions. That means, what is the concept of match? Match is nothing but it verifies your string, by matching by matching it against a regular expression, against a regular expression, against a regular expression, and it returns true if matched, right? That is what actually it is. Now the point is, how do we write regular expression? That means how do we use this string? Actually, string uses like this. We have a string dot match with what? Regular expression. Regular expression is written in double slash. In double slash, we write regular expression. In general HTML, regular expressions are written directly like a string in HTML. But in JavaScript, regular expressions must be kept in double slash. It must be enclosed in double slash. So how to write regular expression? Actually, now important. So regular expression is built with meta characters and quantifiers. Usually regular expressions are built with meta characters and quantifiers. They are built with meta characters and quantifiers. What are meta characters? What are quantifiers? So these are important. Actually, you have to learn meta characters and quantifiers first. What are meta characters and quantifiers? Actually, there are so many meta characters. We have question mark. Question mark, actually, it refers, that means this is nothing but one or zero, actually, 0 or 1 occurrence of a character. It refers to 0 or 1 occurrence of a character. Question mark refers to 0 or 1 occurrence of a character. That means, for example, see, first I will show here itself, you will see. Suppose I want to allow in this, suppose I am just using as your test here, your string. Okay. Now what I want here, I want to allow in this text box only 2 words. I want to allow only 2 words in that text box. What are the 2 words in the text box? What we are using here is, one is color, COLOUR. Another one is COLOR. Anything else other than this not allowed. Now what is similar between them? COLO, after that R at the end. Only what is changing? U is changing. That means now your string is COLO and U can be 0 times or 1 time, then question mark R. That's how we write. This indicates that now it will accept without you and with you. It is going to accept without and with you. That is how we define the meta characters. That means actually here I can put here simple a pattern. The pattern is not required because now we are verifying using what? JavaScript. I will give an ID here. I will give an ID as test. Okay, test is ID. And the submit here, I will just give button clicker. I will just keep a normal one. What I will do is here I will say on click. On click is what? Submit click. Let's write a function here. Here I am writing a function. Here I am writing a function. Right, I am writing a function that is submit click. On submit click, I am just accessing the value test is equal to document dot get element by ID test test dot value. Now I need to verify, is it matching with the concept? That means if test dot match, if it is matching with the regular expression is written in double slash. And what is the regular expression? COLOU question mark R. If it is matching with that expression, then what you do is document dot write. So you entered. So you entered what he entered. So the spelling. That means we will just give the test. That message should come. Otherwise, we will put an alert saying that only COLOR or COLOUR allowed. Like this, I am giving a message. Now see here, I am typing in this now. Let's go to the design here, your string. And here I am typing the string. I am typing something like this. And you see it says only COLOR, COLOUR allowed. I am typing here now COLOUR. Then you can see it is allowed. It is allowing. I am entering here another string COLOR. That is also allowed. I am entering, suppose, here COLOUR. It will not allow. It says it's not allowed because U occurrence can be only once or 0 times. Anything else, whatever you type, is not allowed. Only these 2 spellings are allowed. Those 2 spellings, COLOR, or you can enter COLOUR. That is matching with that regular expression and verifying. This is a simple one. This is just to understand what is the purpose of what question mark. Question mark refers to 0 or 1 occurrence of a character, right? Now, like this, JavaScript and HTML have a lot of meta characters. To write regular expression, you should know all the meta characters and you need to write the pattern. So one of daily work for web developers is regular expression. You can't imagine any form without regular expression. You design a login form, you design a register form, you design a change password form. Every form will have regular expression. They have to verify whether the format is in the same or not. For that, we need to learn all meta characters, how they work, right? So these days, HTML5 is using them. Directly, people are learning this in HTML itself. If you are not aware, then now I have to teach you all meta characters first. After learning meta characters, then we will go into others, right? How to match the meta characters, how to write expression. That we'll see tomorrow. In the next session, we will do that. Okay. Tomorrow, entire session, it will take to understand meta characters because this is the major concept for validation, right? Verifying, writing patterns and all, so that we can do some testing also. That means I will give you some task, you can try them. That means how to write expression for different purpose. Okay. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay. Tomorrow we'll continue.